to today's training. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Thursday afternoon. I was just saying earlier, I can't believe in a couple more days it's going to be October. So I wanted to do an online presence class with you guys, kind of a coaching session. And I have an audit checklist I'm going to share with everyone at the end so that you can go through and do this afterwards. I really want you guys to take the time, an hour, if you can time block an hour to go through this checklist and really just make sure that your online presence is accurate. That's the biggest thing. We want to make sure that you are present across the major platforms with correct contact information, headshots. If there's any old profiles or anything that you need to delete, you need to update brokerage information. There's so much that goes into it that I created this checklist here. I'll quickly show you. I don't want to share it at the beginning because I know everyone's going to be looking at it, but we have an online presence checklist that I created that you can go through and just kind of check through all the different elements of the digital world that we're going to be talking about today. And you can go through and check off once you take a look at your Instagram. Is everything accurate? Is the correct links? Is your name correct? Are you using the best URL? The bio, so many different things in here that you want to make sure that's optimized. And I figured a checklist would be a lot easier than trying to retain everything that I talk about, because we know that I talk about a lot. So it's a lot of information. But we're going to go through some slides today. First, it's going to be more of that coaching environment and back to those training deck. And to go through, and I'll show you guys some examples of websites and tools that you can leverage to kind of make your online presence, update or audit a little bit easier. So if you have questions as we go along, of course, just make sure to throw it in the chat box or unmute yourself and we can answer them as we go along here. So I'm going to pop over here. We're just going to get right into it. So why your online presence is critical. So we're going to start at the very beginning. So it's imperative that you put your best foot forward and optimize all aspects of your online messaging about yourself and your business, right? That's just a basic online presence for any business in today's world to have that presence. So Google reports that 97% of consumers perform internet searches for a local business or service before making a decision. 97% of consumers perform internet searches for a local business or service before making a decision. Basically everyone. So we want to make sure that you show up correctly and you're on all the major platforms. An effective online presence supports your brand to attract your local targeted market. So maximum optimization is achieved when you have the same data across many different platforms. Okay, that's key here. All the platforms that we're going to talk about today or that you're on, you want to make sure that the contact information and just info in general is consistent across all of them. And we're going to talk about a lot of different platforms today. However, don't feel the need that you need to be on all of them, because you don't. You're going to pick, I'm going to talk about the top ones that you should be on. And if you want to be on some others, absolutely. But when you see the list today, don't think, oh my gosh, like this is a full-time job. Okay. So you should be setting up your company profile on as many different platforms as possible. That's manageable for you. Be sure to clean up any old accounts that may be online. Search for yourself or your business to make sure you did not miss any old accounts or information that you were not aware of. Okay, so you're going to start by Googling yourself. Does someone want to volunteer for me to be able to Google them? Chat box, or you can unmute. So when you Google yourself,
you can Google me.
Melissa, I had you in mind too. I was like, I'm going to use Melissa as an example.
Yeah, but the challenge is the Schwartz Team AZ is different than me. So there are two sets. So
yeah, we'll go through both. So when you Google yourself, what links show up and what is the state of that link when we click it? So are there relevant bios, headshots, links, contact info, etc.? So earlier I was Googling myself because I'm also a licensed agent, and my realtor.com profile popped up. And in that profile, there's no headshot, there's no contact information. It has my brokerage address, and also the link is to an old website. So those are that's the reason why we want to do these audits, because there's so many profiles that we we're automatically assigned as an agent through our associations, but we never go in and actually update those profiles. So that would be an example, and that came up on the first page. So it's realtor.com. So that came up on the first page when I typed in Justin Taylor Real Estate. Okay, so that would be an example of a bad thing that you don't want to do, or that you want to go in and correct, because now when you have a client looking at that and they're trying to contact you or get a hold of you and they're clicking on that profile, there's no contact info, the website is old, that's a problem. So I'm going to use Melissa Schwartz as an example. She has a team here in Paradise Valley, Arizona. So I'm going to start with her first. Schwartz. And I'm going to put real estate just to see. Actually, let's do this first just to see what pops up. Okay, so remember, Google is based on location. So we have realtor.com, which apparently shows up on page 1 for a lot of people. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this and just see if this is the correct one. There she is. Okay, so we have a headshot there, her contact information. She's got her bio in there. I believe these phone numbers are correct.
Address is wrong.
Address is wrong. So
it has the 210 instead of 1. It's just a typo because it was 200. It was one. It's 120. It's a typo.
Yeah. So that, you know, that's an easy fix. We got credentials in here, years of experience. So this looks good. 38 listings. Let's see if the website is correct. So it's going to the Real Scout one there, which if you wanted to go there, that's cool. But if you wanted to all lead back to your main website, then we'd probably want to go in and update that there. So I would add that to the list. And this is going to be on this checklist as well that you guys are going to get at the end. So you can always add that in there to that list. Everyone thought they were coming to a training today. This is actually homework. I'm leaving you guys with homework. Okay, so that's the first one. We can keep going down. So LinkedIn, this is most likely her LinkedIn profile. If you guys are not on LinkedIn yet, LinkedIn has an insane amount of SEO, available, that it is critical for you guys to take advantage of this platform. Okay, so it looks like everything's updated here. Real estate consultant. You have all of your designations.
I'm missing my GRI there, but that's okay. I just need to add that.
So I would add that in there. Looks like this is the correct website address. Okay, so both of those maybe go to the same thing.
Should be.
Okay, so maybe we just go in and edit those, or just have the one on there to forward. Notice here that you can also update your LinkedIn URL or username. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about this in a couple of slides when we get to LinkedIn. But you want to make sure that you try to keep your URLs or links like facebook.com/instagram.com/linkedin.com, right? You want to make sure those are somewhat consistent. So when Google pulls these the information, when someone does a search, it knows that that is the correct profile to showcase, right? The more consistent it is, the better. Now, it's hard across all platforms because sometimes our name just isn't available. So we have to get creative that, yours is unique enough in a way that maybe it is available. I do know there's other Schwartz, right, in other states and things like that.
Oh, there are other Melissa Schwartzes that are realtors. There's other Melissa Kim Schwartzes that are realtors. Yeah, unlikely, but it's a very common name.
I have a question. Is it important to change your LinkedIn email to the same, your business email? Because I've had my LinkedIn account for years and it's not my business email. So
if it's going to be displayed,
yes, but
100%.
Okay.
100%. So when someone goes to your contact info, and I believe, do they still have it down here at the bottom? No, so it's just going to be under the contact info here, which Melissa, yours isn't showing. So you might want to add that in there, your email and possibly a phone number. But yes, that's going to be one of the things that you want to do is consistently across all platforms, your email to be the same, your phone number to be the same. And the reason is because when Google goes in and does this search, when someone does a Google search, it's going to try to link profiles together. So we've talked about this before and we did Google business profiles, but if you have a different phone number and email on different platforms, it's going to not think that it's you. And it's gonna withhold those from showing up on the page, on page 1.
Okay.
So definitely make sure your email and phone number is consistent across all platforms, your address, website, all that kind of stuff. Just make sure I admit these people real quick. Cool. So obviously, contact info can be updated here. She just has to add her GRI there, which is awesome. You just want to make sure any about me or bios and things like that are also consistent, or if they need to be updated across platforms, you want to make sure that is updated, as well as if there needs to be anything updates in previous experience or even current experience. So again, you just want to make sure that those items are updated and consistent across each platform. Otherwise, this looks good. So I'm going to go back here. Maybe. There we go. So those came up. We have our, is that you or no? That's you, right? 120. So our Google Business profile pops up. That's also your individual one there. So you want to make sure, so I'm just clicking on website, right? So that goes to your OneSuite website, which is good. Google by far is going to be the best place for you guys to get Google reviews, okay? Make sure you are getting reviews on your Google Business profile. Okay, so that showed up. I just want to keep scrolling down to see what else is on page 1. Homes.com, right? We probably never signed up for that. It was probably just auto assigned, but it looks like, if the phone number is correct, that looks good. You just want to make sure the bio is consistent. You probably want to add your other designations in there. Make sure your locations served are correct. Right? There's so many profiles. Or if you don't want to have to deal with all these profiles and you don't want to have to keep them updated, just go in and deactivate them, because it's better than having wrong information in there and just not displaying it. Okay. So the point of just using this example as a search is you just want to make sure that you go in, Google yourself so you can see, I don't think this is you. Is it? Melissa. It's a local phone number. So it may or may not be here. Notice that when we added real estate, right, you want to try different keywords in there as well. Melissa Schwartz real estate, Melissa Schwartz probably team for her since she has a team. Melissa Schwartz Arizona, right? You want to try a few of those different things to see what's popping up for when people search. So her main website at her brokerage is popping up there. Her Facebook is popping up. Again, you're going to go into your Facebook. You want to make sure that all your contact information is updated. Even things like banner images. Is that consistent across all platforms? Your logo, your profile photo, is that consistent across all platforms? What I love about hers, and we're going to talk about this in a second, is her display name is the same as her username. You can see here in the link. So usernames are also going to be your vanity URL, which is this link up here, which is great for Google. Okay, so when these things match, it's great. Now, like I said before, sometimes you just cannot get your name because it's not available. Let me tell you, Justin Taylor, it's not available on anything. I always have to do something special at the end, maybe AZ or anything like that. Also, just a side note, if your name is available as a domain and you haven't purchased it yet, you need to purchase it like now, today. Because it will, when I say that, I mean like your first and last name.com. Like it's very hard nowadays to find that, but if you have a unique enough name and somebody hasn't purchased it yet, please go and buy it. It will be well worth it. I don't even want to tell you how much I had to pay for mine. So you're going to go through these. Again, you're just going to make sure that your phone number is correct. Looks like the address is correct on this one. You want to make sure that email addresses, just like I think Mariah was asking, you want to make sure if an email address is visible on any platform, you want to make sure it's the same across the board. Okay. This looks good. All right, so let's see if there's anything else. She's on Rate My Agent. Again, you just want to make sure those are consistent. All right, so now we're on her Zillow. Again, looks like the bio is different on a few of these different platforms. So I would just go through and make sure that it's consistent. The other thing is every platform is different. So maybe they let you only have this much of a bio, right? On Zillow, they allow you to have this much. So maybe on one platform that only allows you to have this, but it's at least the beginning part, so it still matches the others. Does that make sense? So then you can have your full bio on where it allows you to, but on platforms where they only allow you a certain amount of characters, maybe it's just like the beginning portion of it there. And again, I would just go through and double check all these links. So website, right, takes her to the correct spot. Facebook,
Justin,
looks like it goes to the right spot. Yeah.
so you think that Google Business Profile is the best place to have a review written? I went over this in my mind over and over because when you ask one of your clients to write a review, you don't want them to have to write it 5 different times, right? They're only going to submit it to one.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So by far in 2022 and going into 2023, Google business profiles are such a priority, and reviews on Google business profiles are such a priority. Anytime someone goes to do a Google search in their local area, like, right, what do we say? Oh, we're looking for food, we're looking for a service, we're looking for an accountant, we're looking for whatever it is. What do? We Google it. And the Google business profile allows you to capture that local business. And reviews are such a huge part of their algorithm for you to be shown before others. So if your online presence is strong and you have good reviews and a decent quantity of them on there, you're going to win more. You're going to show up higher in those searches. Also, it's a lot more user friendly above everything else. Zillow, that we're looking at right now, makes it difficult for our clients to leave reviews. Okay, they have to go through a whole process. They have to create an account. Not saying that you shouldn't have any on Zillow. Of course, you should have some reviews on Zillow. I'm just saying that the majority of your focus should be getting those reviews on Google. I'm okay with her having 6 reviews here. And then if she had 10, 15, 20 reviews on Google and building that up, because it's only going to, bottom line is Google owns the internet search engine. They're the #1 globally. YouTube is #2. I don't know if you guys knew that YouTube was a search engine. It is, because what are we doing nowadays? If we need to know how to change brakes, if we want to know how to cook something, how do we fix our phone? What do? We YouTube it and learn through a video. So YouTube is owned by Google. So essentially the top 2 search engines of the world are Google. So that's why reviews are so important on that platform. I know that's long-winded, but hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to go.
Thanks for going over that.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back in over here. So these are platforms that you want to make sure that you are 100% accurate on if you are on them. Now, some of these you don't necessarily need to be on. I try to put the most important ones first. So we're going to first talk about social networks. Okay, so Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram would be my top 4 social networks that I would want you guys to be on. Okay, now Facebook is very powerful in its own way. It allows you to stay connected with your sphere of influence and past clients easily by just making updates. Okay, it also gives you insight on birthdays. It's your digital birthday database. Okay, so it tells you exactly whose birthday it is today. So if you're friends with your sphere on there and your past clients, it makes it easy to have that connection. YouTube, I've been preaching this for months now. You have to start doing video. You will win more if you start doing video. Okay, as consumers, we all are watching videos and YouTube in general. NAR released a stat that 51% of all buyers chose YouTube as their #1 research platform when researching an area or to purchase a home. Okay, which is insane. 51% start at YouTube. Okay, LinkedIn is critical. Again, in Instagram, of course, very similar to Facebook because it's owned by Facebook. Important to be on. You want to make sure that these platforms that you're on here under social networks, again, your naming convention is consistent. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And your URLs are consistent, bios, contact information, all that. Business listings. The #1 on this list, Google Business Profile. If you don't have any of these other ones, cool. You should absolutely have a Google Business Profile. Is there anyone on the call that currently does not have a Google Business Profile?
I do not. I don't
Okay.
think. I don't think.
No worries. So
I don't
would-
have it either. Sorry.
You don't either. No, you're good. So this is good though, because this is an opportunity when you guys get the audit checklist at the end that you can go in and create one. It's very easy to create one. It's free. When you do create one, it's going to ask you, it's going to go through a verification thing and mail you a postcard for you to put in, and then it's simple. I have a training on this on Rock University. If you email me, I can get you the link directly so you can watch it. But by far, Google Business Profiles is just, it should be an absolute priority for you to get. Easy to set. Yelp would be the second one. It's probably the second most used for finding places other than just Google Maps on there. So those would be the top two. Bing Places, Yahoo, and Alignable, not necessary, but these are the top ones on the internet, places in terms of traffic and things like that for people to go through. Business listings though, Google Business Profile. If you don't have one or you haven't updated it, I would go in and make sure you update that. Agent directories would be things like Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com. The first three there, Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com, are your biggest priority. Homes.com and HomeLight are very popular. However, it's not necessary. Zillow, of course, we all have our opinion about Zillow, but unfortunately, we have to play the online presence game in our world of real estate. So you want to make sure that you go in and you have your Zillow profile, you get a couple reviews on there if you don't have them already. You want to make sure your transactions are updated. Okay, maybe all your transactions haven't populated to that platform that you've done. So you want to make sure that's updated, links and things like that. Same thing for Trulia and Realtor.com. Okay. Let's talk about your website. So your website is your digital business card. No matter what website platform you use, having a concise and professional website is critical in today's environment. So you want to go to your website. Is the domain correct? Right? Is it a default domain that you never went in and created a custom domain? Ensure that you have an updated headshot. Okay, that's a big one, right? You want to make sure your headshot has been done in the last, let's say, 2 years. Okay, if you have a headshot from 20 years ago, we might want to update that. Just so it matters, just so it's consistent. And your professional bio. Again, you want to make sure that bio, maybe you have a full bio, maybe it's a couple paragraphs or however long it is, depending on which platform you're currently on, or you're updating, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, your website, Realtor.com. How many ever characters they allow in that, put as much as you can in there, but make sure it's consistent across all platforms. Verify that your social media accounts are linked so people can access them easily and that your contact information is readily accessible. This is one of the biggest things that I see is we set up a profile and we added our social media links, maybe an Instagram, and we decided to change that Instagram URL or our handle, right? So mine's like Rock University is Instagram.com/rock_university. Say one day when I didn't have to have the underscore, I'd have to go through all the other platforms that's listed on and make sure to update that URL. So if your website has an old Instagram link, you want to make sure you go in and update that so it goes to your current one. Facebook. So oftentimes agents ask whether they should have a personal page or a business page, and the answer is you need both. So best agents, in my opinion, blend the two so that there's a natural overlap, right? It's not always about business. You got to be local and talk about you as a human as well. So you want to make sure you add your brokerage as your workplace. Now we're talking about your personal Facebook page. Make sure you add your brokerage as your workplace, because that's important, because if you have your broker listed on Zillow or it's included in your Google business profile, you want to make sure that when somebody does a search, it can link up to your Facebook as well. And it knows that because it can put the two together. Okay, fill in all questions about your education, where you grew up, schools you attended, and places you've worked. These are additional ways for people to find common connections. Note too that it's okay to share your business page information on your personal page, but don't let the professional dominate the personal, okay? There's gotta be a balance, 80-20 rule. For Facebook business page, update your headshot, include all relevant contact information, include a cover photo, company branding, personal bio in your about section. Fill out every blank that Facebook provides for your profile because that information will help you drive more organic traffic to your page. You can share testimonial graphics here as well as blog posts from your website, and you should invite your friends and family to follow this page. That's the other thing. So maybe you haven't invited, you've created new connections and friends on your personal Facebook page, and you haven't gone in a while to then invite them to follow and like your business page. So that would be something else that's going to be on the checklist. So once you get everything updated, you're then going to go to your business page and make sure you've invited everyone you're friends with to follow that page. Instagram. So for your Instagram profile, begin with a creator account instead of a personal account. This will allow you to select an industry and access insights related to the content on your page. That's important. You want to be able to select real estate. Okay. The creator account also gives you access to music and additional editing options. Your bio page is a snapshot resume. Okay, this is in your bio of your Instagram. People make very quick decisions on whether they decide to follow you or not. An updated headshot is a must, of course. Clean professional photos with a smiling face are always helpful. The bio portion needs to highlight who you are and why people should follow you. Something about the headshot, I know that some, and like what we saw with Melissa before, and having a team logo is really good, and I would include that probably in the header image. But people love to see people, and I say this a lot in when you guys are posting or asking what I should post to, what content should I post to my social media. Photos of yourself or with you in them will always get more engagement than static photos of just something random. Okay, so in your profiles, I would encourage you to use a photo of you instead of maybe a logo or a house or something like that. That way people can connect with you right away and they're like, oh yeah, that's Aaron, or oh yeah, that's Krista. They can connect right away on who that is. So examples of a bio could be your city realtor, maybe Phoenix realtor, Las Vegas realtor, real estate professional, something like that. Specializing in helping whoever you help. Do you have a niche? Do you have, what do you specialize in? Maybe your accolades, right? Top agent or hundreds of families helped, or you have your designations in there. And then follow for tips on whatever you cover. Follow tips on interior design, follow tips on local things that are happening locally, things like that. So you want to make sure that you kind of attract or catch those users' attention before they follow you. Instagram used to only allow one link. This is an update this week. So they used to only allow one link in that bio. This is an exciting update. So if you go to your Instagram right now, you may have the ability to add multiple links without using something like a link tree. So I checked mine this morning, and I can add multiple links in mine now. This is something they're testing, and it's not rolled out to everyone, but you can go into your profile and see if that's been added in there, okay? Because this can save you money and just time on trying to edit stuff. But Instagram used to only allow one link, but they are testing multiple links now with some users. Until it is rolled out to all users, you can leverage a tool called Linktree. If you don't know what Linktree is, you can go to Rock University's Instagram and you can click the little link in the bio and it shows up multiple links under that one link. Linktree keeps your bio clean and gives followers that are interested a way to learn more about you. Okay, we're gonna talk about LinkedIn a little bit. I want to think LinkedIn as another professional Facebook and start by emulating what you're doing there. Update your headshot, of course, add your brokerage as your workplace, just like you would on your Facebook. Add a bio that explains your focus and experience to increase your credibility. Finally, add a branded cover photo to your profile. So notice there's consistency across all of these and what we're talking about. Adding a branded cover photo. So your personal Facebook page, your business Facebook page, your LinkedIn, your YouTube channel, they all allow you to have banner images. Okay, so what's the message there? What's the image look like? What's the brand that you want it to look like? And you just want to make sure that it's consistent across all of those. Fiverr is a wonderful place to for design work. So if you need a Facebook banner, LinkedIn banner, YouTube banner, there's a lot of packages for $10, $15 to get all of these. done for you and they look beautiful. They're professionally done, they're sized correctly. You know, you can add your headshot to them. They can put your contact info. If you have a slogan or a logo or anything like that, they can very easily get that done for you for very inexpensive. LinkedIn is a great place to connect with other agents and your professional clients. LinkedIn shifted to a more content-driven site over the past few years, creating an opportunity for agents who post consistent content to build an audience. It's one of the most underutilized social networks currently. Notice here that I added your professional client or other agents. So LinkedIn is a great place to connect with other agents. If you aren't tapping into feeder markets or connecting with agents in other markets to create referral business, you should definitely start doing that. And LinkedIn is a great platform to start with. You can also build your network by sending connection requests to fellow agents in other markets, like I was just saying, ideal for staying top of mind for referrals and coworkers as well as potential customers. You can be really specific in your searches on LinkedIn so you can connect with your ideal clients. I did a class on LinkedIn for real estate. It's on Rock University. It is an amazing way, and actually Brian Tracial did one as well, and talked about how you can go in and make new connections for potential buyers and sellers within your market. Now, people think, oh, I only have 180 connections, but those 180 connections are then part of a network of, like I did an example for mine. I have almost 200 connections, and that opened up to like 180,000. And then I could then pare that down to a specific niche or demographic in my local market to then connect to try to get referral business or clients. Articles, blog posts, videos, and visual content work very well to draw organic traffic. Your content will perform better if it doesn't draw the user away from the platform. So direct upload to LinkedIn will work better than a link to a YouTube video or blog post on your website. Okay, Google Business Profiles. So when someone wants to learn more about you, they typically begin with a Google search. I said it earlier, when we have questions or we're in a group or someone says something, what do we say? Google it. Just Google it. So in fact, if you're only going to do one thing on this list, like I said earlier, start by optimizing your Google Business Profile. Start there. If you don't have a Google Business Profile, start there. Include your name, brokerage, website, contact information, which you'll need to verify for Google as an essential step in the process. Include hours of operation. You want to get reviews on your Google Business Profile. One thing with the reviews, make sure that you just don't go in and request 15 reviews right off the bat. They will flag that. You want to maybe get 2, and then next week maybe you get another 2, and then next week, you know, build up to that. Don't make it look like spam or something, because they will they're very particular about that. So you can upload photos, maybe you and past clients, your listings, written content, and anything else that helps your audience know, like, and trust you. Your Google Business Profile will be one of the first places people either find you or where they go to check you out. So again, Mariah had asked that question earlier, you know, why Google Business Profiles over maybe Zillow or something like that? Because you will most likely show up first from a Google search. So you want to make sure that you have those reviews. So you want to make sure that you include photos again, testimonials, content about the areas that you serve. That's one thing you can do with the Google Business Profile. Make sure that you go in and that your service areas are updated. Okay, actually put in areas that you will work in. Okay, Google Business Profile is crucial now, but I believe a fully optimized page will be even more valuable in the future. Get ahead of the curve and optimize yours today. Okay, some tips that can improve SEO rankings. So you can create Google posts on your Google Business page. Okay, these are kind of similar, like little blog posts. You can, you know, update those. You can add photos. You can add videos to those posts as well. Google Business Page has some similarities to social media and allows you to post similar types of content. Your Google Business Page is a page that is verified by Google, and any content there is automatically deemed a relevant source. We trust Google. As consumers, right? We're all consumers. We're looking at those stars. We're looking at those ratings. Who orders something on Amazon that has less than 3 stars? We're not doing it. Even if it has 5 stars and only 1 review, we're questioning it. Okay, we're keep looking. So it's very similar in that sense. When people are looking for products or services, it's very similar in how we as humans make those decisions. Naming convention. We were talking about this. So using the same name across all platforms. So if you have, if you know, Linda Bedell has a middle initial, or she includes a middle name or her PLLC on one, but not on the others, you want to make sure it's consistent across all. Same with the URLs. So if Instagram.com/Justin Taylor isn't available, maybe, you know, Justin Taylor AZ is a username that I can get across all platforms. Okay. It's not a bad idea that you do your first and last name plus your geographic location. Physical address, this is critical. This has to be 100% consistent across all platforms. This is a big thing with Google and their algorithm. Physical addresses have to be. Now, I would not put a physical address on my Google business profile per se. I would do service areas. Okay. And the reason is say that my address is in Scottsdale, but I also would serve maybe Goodyear. Google is not going to favor me because my address is in Scottsdale. But if I have Scottsdale as a service area and Goodyear as a service area, they will favor that. Adding Facebook buttons. So of course there's contact buttons in there or call to actions you can do, view my website, download app, things like that. And then of course, posting featured videos. Who on this call loves making videos? There's only one answer. There's only one answer.
Yes, me.
It's 3 letters. So you want to make sure you're posting featured videos, or maybe you're doing a market update and you're putting it on your YouTube channel. Whatever it is, try it once. You never know. Profile optimizations. Again, we talked about a lot of these, just recapping. So your display name, your username or URL, you want to make sure it's consistent. Profile images. Again, I recommend it actually being a photo of you. It doesn't just have to be you. Maybe it's you and a client, or if you have a team, it's you and your team. You know, whatever the reason is. But I would highly recommend having an actual photo of you as opposed to like a logo or a local photo or something like that. Banner art, right? Those banner images at the top of all these profiles, you want to make sure it's consistent. Your bio, intro, story, you want to make sure those are as consistent as possible. Again, like Instagram, you're not getting a full bio in there, right? They let you have this much space. So that's why it's critical on certain platforms like Instagram. For the example that I showed you, you want to make sure that something like this is in there, because then you're getting that geographic location, a little bit about you, some accolades, and some tips, okay? Categories and tags. Again, if you have a creator account on Instagram, it allows you to choose a category. Same with your Facebook business page. It's going to be real estate. Your Google business profile, you want to make sure that the category is real estate. They allow real estate agent. I think real estate consultant is on there. And then also those service areas, you want to make sure you maximize that as much as possible. Links. Again, just like what we did earlier with Melissa, you're going to go through and Google yourself, and you're going to click on every spot where there could be a link. And you want to make sure that those links are consistent and active. Does the link still work? If it doesn't, you want to make sure you update that. And of course, your business info. So location, phone, email, and then reviews. If you're on a platform, maybe you have a Zillow profile. It's fully, you know, you have your bio, links, everything's updated, the name, it looks great, but you have no reviews. I would request a couple reviews there, right? Take the time to go ahead and request a couple reviews on that profile. On each of these platforms that allow you to have a review, LinkedIn allows you to get recommendations. Ask for a couple recommendations. Okay. If it allows you to have a review or recommendation, I would request it just so that it's optimized. However, I would put a lot of focus on getting reviews on Google. So a couple tools on how you can improve your performance on a Google search. There's something called Google Search Console. This is a free tool by Google, and by connecting your website to this platform, it will show you what keywords are driving traffic to your website. Okay, as well as give you insight on damage items on your website that's causing it to not show up in certain searches. So let me break that down. So when you connect your website, your domain, it's very easy to go through this. Let me just pull it up here. Just this website here, search.google.com. Okay, or you can just Google Search Console. And what this will do is once you connect your domain, it's going to tell you what keywords are driving traffic to your website. So what are the keywords that someone is searching the most that's driving them to your website? So for example, I'll use Aaron only because you're in my view of the screen. But so say I Googled Aaron Lyle and I, airline real estate, or maybe I did Scottsdale real estate, excuse me, Phoenix real estate or something like that. And let's say one of those was the keyword driver that was making the most traffic to your website. I would then want to create blogs or other things in that website with more of those keywords. Does that make sense? It basically tells you what people are searching and what's those keywords that are driving them to your website. So then you can include more of those keywords throughout your website. Absolutely, Melissa. Okay, the other thing that it'll tell you is it's going to tell you what negative items are on your website that is not letting it show up in searches. Okay, that's equally important, right? So when someone searches, Google has these crawlers or these, let's say an analogy they use, but these crawlers that go out through the web and they pull back information based on those keywords and they comb through all these websites. It's incredible how simultaneously this happens. And if something negative comes up on your website, it could be something simple as just a random word or a keyword or whatever it is, maybe a location. And Google decides that it's not going to show your website in that search. So it will, through this tool, this console, it will tell you what negative keywords or what negative or damaged items are on your website that you should remove or correct for then it to show up in searches. Okay. A little bit technical, but it's free. So I would go in and you can just click start now. It'll go through your profile. You can connect to your domain or your URL and then go through the process and see it there. Highly, highly recommend. All right, let's see what we got here. Questions? Who's ready for homework?
I do have a question.
Yes.
So with Google for Business, I know you can connect your domain to your email address. Does this email address have to be, or I'm sorry, does this domain need to be a new website that you just launched, or can you just create the domain that agrees with your email address and then redirect it to, like, say, your onboarding for your brokerage?
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is if you have a domain name, do you already have the email set up?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the email address?
It's like kstyles@kellerwilliams.com or kw.com or something like that.
Got you. So because you don't own that domain, right? That's a Keller Williams domain. They just issued you a email address for that. You won't be able to redirect that domain to a website because you don't own it. You'd have to change the DNS settings.
Okay, so it's best just to like quick build your own Wix site or something like that and link it to your email.
What I would do is I would go to like GoDaddy and I would buy. Do they offer you a website there, or do you have a website?
Yeah, it's just like a free profile page that I have.
That's okay. So what I would do is I would go to GoDaddy and I recommend this for all agents because we all love our brokerages, but it's good to have your own branding as well. So I would go to GoDaddy and I would buy a domain. So maybe it's Krista Sells, whatever area, or just your name, or you purchase a domain. And then you can easily get an email to that domain. So it'd be like Krista Sells, Arizona, whatever it is. And then that's yours, you own it, you can move it around wherever you want. And then I would forward that domain, whatever that domain is, to that landing page or a website or something like that. You can connect it in that way. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, and I can build one pretty easy with Wix, so it's just like a weekend project, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. Or you can, have it forward to your Zillow, or have it for, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-blown website, but Wix would be a good option there too. Good questions. Any other questions regarding what we went over today? Let's take a look at the checklist.
I do
Go
have a
ahead.
question. I noticed that a lot of the top producing agents don't bother having a website. So it's like, I feel like I don't really need one, but what would you say is like majorly beneficial from doing that?
So most of like top producing agents or teams that I've worked with, they have some type of website. A lot of them might have a lot more informational website, not necessarily IDX websites. I would recommend it. Everyone should have a website. It does not have to be, fancy or anything like that, but I definitely would have something that directs them somewhere as a website. So if you have a domain name, like I said, maybe it goes to a landing page, maybe it goes to your Zillow, maybe it goes to your directly to your Facebook page or something like that. I would have something, that you can talk a little bit more about yourself on a website. It does not have to be fancy, but I would recommend having some type of website for sure. So this is the audit checklist that I'm going to give everyone here. You can click the link here in the chat box. I'll include it in the email that I send out as well. Let me just throw this in here and we're going to talk about it. Just want to make sure everyone has time to click that and download. So this is an online presence checklist. A lot of it's what we went over today. Another tool that I included here is name check. It's clickable. So if you click that link in there, it's going to take you here. It will search over 30 domain sites and then more than 90 social media accounts. So if I just typed in Justin Taylor, you're going to say you're not a robot, and it's going to make you do this crazy thing that I never can get right. Woohoo, look at that. I'm going to do search. So it's pulling all these domains, registered. Somebody bought that, which is fine. I have justintaylor.com. So you can always show more. All these are available, not registered. So if you don't own these, that's okay. It just lets you know what's available or not. If you scroll down, you're going to see check for usernames for social media platforms. Maybe you didn't know you had a Pinterest, right? That's connected with you or your business. So you can go in there and take a look at that. Maybe you had blog or anything like that. You can go through and check those. Facebook, you don't have theirs. So the green ones, you can connect there and see. But it's a great tool for you to be able to go in and kind of see where you are on the internet. So your online profile should contain the following, right? It goes through all this information. This is great for you guys to be able to print out and just check these off as you go through each of these profiles. One specifically is your website. Take a look there. Business listings, again, Google My Business is #1 priority out of all of these. Highly recommend. You don't need to be on all of these, but Google My Business profile, in my opinion, and a lot of industry expert opinions, you need a Google Business profile. Social media networks, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, priority. TikTok, Snapchat, not priority. Are agents having success on those, on TikTok specifically? Yes, but is it necessary? No. Reddit, you don't need to be on. Pinterest is fun because you can save a lot of interior design things or buyer, seller items. But Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube would definitely be priority here. Profile optimizations, we talked about these. Want to make sure these are consistent across all platforms. Privacy settings is going to be more for your Facebook business page. I give you a couple different design spots here. Fiverr is one that I've used multiple times. I use it all the time. They're a great resource for you to be able to go in and get design work done for your social media platforms, banner images, logos, websites even, flyers, really anything you can think of, YouTube video editing, tons of things. Leverage it. It's inexpensive. It's basically your assistant for very, very cheap. Online presence checklist. So you have these agent directories. You're just going to go through each of these sites and make sure again, I told you earlier, don't be overwhelmed by this. You don't need to be on all of these at all. That's not what the gig is today. You're gonna go through, and if you're on one of these, you just want to make sure that you go through and make sure that it's correct. Okay, so when you go to your Zillow and you have optimized it, everything's correct, contact information's updated, everything looks pristine, you're gonna check it off. Same for realtor.com. And then I think the other one on here was, oh, it says Zillow Trulia. So you do both of those. If you're part of any referral sites or anything like that, you can always go in and, you know, just make sure that you're on there. HomeBot is an amazing tool. I've done trainings on HomeBot before, so I wanted to make sure to include that on here. If you're not using HomeBot, you can reach out to a lender that does and get signed up for that. It's an amazing seller lead gen tool. They also offer some buyer things there. And actually, to the question of having a website, you can almost just use your HomeBot as your website. You just forward a domain there. Be a good one. If you guys don't have a property valuation tool or anything where a user or a consumer can go in and enter their address for a property valuation, HomeBot is free. A great way to do that. They talk a lot about building wealth. It's not just about property valuation. They're talking about equity and being able to pull that equity out to go buy an investment property. They talk about Airbnbs. It's more about wealth management there. And consumers love it. They have a 50% engagement rate. So it's pretty amazing. So hopefully everyone can click that in the chat box and be able to download that. I'll of course include this with the recording afterwards as well. Biggest takeaway is I really want you guys to set aside at least an hour, right? Just time block it. We have the time. Okay, market shifted a little bit. This is important. This is very similar to when you're getting your business plan ready towards the end of the year for the new year, right? What are your goals? Things like that. Online presence should be one of them. Database, right? I don't want to overwhelm you, but your database will be another one. But you want to make sure for today, you go ahead and schedule time in the next week to take an hour or 2 hours to go through this checklist and just make sure that your online presence and profiles are consistent across all of them, across the digital world. So hopefully everyone was able to download that. Any questions in general, online presence, branding, marketing, real estate? Where's the closest pharmacy to get some Advil? None today? Please reach out to your Rock Title sales executive if you have any questions. We are here to help you, especially as we are gearing to last quarter of the year and ramping up for the new year. We want to make sure that you guys are set up for success. We continue to invest in technology and training platforms like this to be able to help you guys win more business. It's so important, especially in this more normal market, for you guys to stand out from the competition. So that is our priority. We would love to service your escrows. We have several branches across both states, Arizona and Nevada. We are growing nationally. So we are here to help you guys in general. Let me double check the chat box. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you all. And we will see you in next week's training. Everyone have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. I'm sorry my computer died. I jumped back on, but I froze. So I'll have to go back to see what you looked at in several of my other sites.
No worries. I appreciate you participating.
Thank you. Hey, did you get my email?
I did. Before, I don't think you heard me. I have it saved in a draft. I'm going to get it back to you today.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
Of course. You
Bye.
too. Take care, everyone.